Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others struggle their entire lives just to make ends meet? Why do the rich keep getting richer, no matter the economy, no matter the crisis, while the rest stay stuck in the same financial quicksand? Here's the truth no one taught you in school, and it's going to sting. Poverty is not a coincidence. It's programmed. And until you change the code running your financial life, nothing will change. From the moment you're born, the system starts shaping your mind. You're told to study hard, follow the rules, get a good job, save a little, maybe retire one day if you're lucky. Sounds safe, doesn't it? But let me ask you, safe for who? Because while you're out there clocking in hours, obeying rules, chasing job security, the wealthy are doing something completely different. They're not playing the game. They're rewriting it. They don't trade time for money. They create systems that make money work for them. They're not obsessed with appearing rich. They're focused on building lasting wealth. Meanwhile, most people are stuck, not because they're lazy or unlucky, but because they've been taught to think poor. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. This isn't about some magic secret. It's about the brutal truths the rich understand and the poor ignore. Truths that can break the cycle of struggle and open the door to real financial freedom. If you're willing to listen. In this video, inspired by Robert Kiyosaki's real-life lessons and decades of financial wisdom, you're going to learn exactly what separates those who win the money game from those who never escape it. Get ready, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's dive in. If working hard was the secret to getting rich, wouldn't every construction worker, nurse, or teacher be wealthy by now? But they're not, and it's not because they're lazy. In fact, some of the hardest working people in the world are also the ones stuck living paycheck to paycheck, constantly stressed, constantly behind. So ask yourself, if effort alone isn't the answer, what is? Here's the truth most people will never hear. Poverty is not a coincidence. It's a program. It's installed into your mind from the moment you're born. You're told to sit still, follow rules, get good grades, go to college, find a stable job, and save what you can. Sounds smart, right? But let me ask you this. Who does that system really benefit? Because while you're working for your money, the rich are building systems that make money work for them. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about money was designed to keep you broke? That your fear of taking risks, your belief that saving is smart, your obsession with job security, none of that was your idea. It was programmed into you by a system that thrives when you stay average, obedient, and dependent. The wealthy don't follow the same rules. They learn how to think differently, see opportunities others ignore, and build wealth by design, not by chance. And if you want to escape the cycle of struggle, it starts with unlearning what you thought was true. You don't need another raise. You need a new mindset. This isn't about motivation. It's about truth. It's about ripping out the beliefs that were planted in your mind and replacing them with the ones that actually lead to freedom. Because until you break the program, you'll keep repeating the pattern. And the worst part? You'll think it's your fault. But it's not. Not anymore. From the time you're a child, you're told what to do. Sit down, be quiet, get good grades, memorize, obey. You're not taught how to think, you're trained how to follow. School doesn't prepare you for financial freedom. It prepares you to become a cog in a machine. The curriculum doesn't include lessons on assets, cash flow, or debt. Instead, it teaches you how to be a good employee, how to show up on time, follow instructions, and wait for a paycheck. Your family, doing the best they can, reinforces the same message. They tell you to find something safe, something secure. Get a job with benefits. Don't take risks. Don't question the system. They say it with love, but the result is the same. You're raised to be dependent. Then the media steps in. Every ad, every headline, every financial guru on TV pushes the same formula. Go to school, work hard, save money, invest in the stock market, retire at 65. And no one asks, why does this advice never seem to work? Because it's not designed to. It's not about helping you win, it's about keeping you inside the game. Meanwhile, the rich aren't playing that game. They're not chasing paychecks or job titles. They're not hoping for a raise or relying on retirement plans. While the average person is working harder just to stay afloat, the rich are building systems that work for them. Businesses, assets, cash flow, tax strategies. They understand the rules, and more importantly, they understand the purpose of the system: control. The system doesn't want you to be rich. It wants you to be manageable, predictable, controlled. You're easier to tax, easier to finance, easier to sell to, and until you realize that, you'll keep playing your role, thinking that working harder is the answer, when really, the entire setup was built to keep you exactly where you are. It's time to wake up. Most people spend their lives chasing money. They wake up early, commute to jobs they don't love, and work all day just to collect a paycheck. Then they do it all over again. It's a cycle. Earn, spend, repeat. But Robert Kiyosaki's rich dad taught something radically different. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But it's the difference between financial struggle and financial freedom. Employees trade time for money. They clock in, they get paid. No hours worked, no income. The moment they stop working, the money stops too. That's a fragile way to live. It's survival, not wealth. The wealthy think differently. They use their time to acquire assets, things that generate income whether they're working or not. Real estate, businesses, royalties, dividends. They don't wake up thinking, how can I earn more? They wake up asking, how can I increase my cash flow? That's the secret. Cash flow, not income. Anyone can earn a high income and still be broke. You've seen it. Doctors, lawyers, executives living paycheck to paycheck because their lifestyle inflates with their salary. They earn a lot, but they spend even more. That's not wealth. That's just a more expensive version of the same trap. Wealthy people don't rely on earned income. They build pipelines that bring money in while they sleep. They understand that true freedom comes when your assets pay for your life. Not a paycheck, not a promotion, not overtime. Cash flow, predictable, recurring, and independent of your effort. This is the mindset shift most people never make. They keep grinding, hoping to get ahead by working harder. But the wealthy? They build systems. They buy time. They free themselves. And it all starts with a single question. Is your money working for you, or are you still working for it? Most people cling to their jobs like a life raft. They believe that as long as they have a steady paycheck, they're safe. But here's the hard truth. Job security is an illusion. The paycheck that makes you feel comfortable is the same thing keeping you trapped. We're taught from childhood that a stable job is the ultimate goal. Go to school, get good grades, and land that secure position. But how secure is it really? Companies lay off workers not because of poor performance, but because of economic shifts, budget cuts, or new technology. Entire industries have been wiped out in a matter of years. Automation is replacing jobs faster than schools can prepare students. AI is now doing what once required human expertise. One decision by someone you've never met, and the income you depend on disappears overnight. And when that paycheck is your only stream of income, you're exposed. One pink slip, one economic downturn, one missed opportunity, and you're in crisis. That's not security. That's vulnerability disguised as comfort. The wealthy don't live that way. They don't put their future in the hands of a boss or a company. They build multiple income streams: rental properties, dividends, businesses, intellectual property, so that if one source dries up, the rest keep flowing. They don't panic when the market shifts because they're not dependent on a single check to survive. True financial security doesn't come from a job. It comes from control. When you have assets that produce income, you control your time, your money, and your choices. You're not at the mercy of a system that can turn on you at any moment. That's the difference between surviving and thriving. One is built on dependency, the other on independence. And if you're still relying on a paycheck to feel safe, it's time to rethink everything, because what you're calling security might actually be the biggest trap of all. From the moment you enter school, you're conditioned to follow. Sit still, raise your hand, memorize the textbook, repeat the answers. Obedience is rewarded. Questioning is punished. And by the time you leave, you're fully trained for one thing: to be an employee, to wait for instructions, follow the rules, and depend on someone else to give you a paycheck. But here's what they never teach you. Employees follow, owners lead. Employees wait for opportunity, owners create it. While most people are taught to trade hours for dollars, owners understand that the real power is in building assets that produce income, whether they're working or not. The wealthy think like owners. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait for someone to give them a chance. They build businesses, investments, books, brands, products, anything that puts them in control of their future. They don't rely on a job to define their worth or dictate their income. They rely on what they create. And that's the shift most people never make. They keep asking for a raise, hoping someone else will improve their situation. They cling to job titles, hoping status will turn into security. But the truth is, no matter how much you're paid, if someone else decides your value, you're still not free. The rich don't work to earn, they work to learn. They learn how systems function, how money flows, how value is created and scaled. Then they take what they've learned and build something of their own, something that generates income whether they show up or not. If you want to stop living at the mercy of someone else's decisions, you have to start thinking like an owner. Stop asking, "How can I make more money at my job?" and start asking, "What can I build that pays me forever?" That's when everything changes. Because ownership isn't just about wealth, it's about freedom. And freedom starts in the mind. The moment most people get a raise, they start spending it. A newer car, a bigger apartment, the latest phone, more nights out. It feels like progress, but it's a trap. This is lifestyle creep, the silent thief of wealth. You earn more, so you spend more, and before long you're stuck in the same place financially, just with nicer things and bigger bills. It's one of the main reasons people stay broke, no matter how much they make. They confuse income with success and consumption with freedom. But the truth is, every time you upgrade your lifestyle without upgrading your assets, you're stepping deeper into the rat race. The wealthy do the opposite. They delay gratification. While others are spending to impress, they're investing to multiply. They live beneath their means, not because they're cheap, but because they understand one thing: money that's spent is gone. Money that's invested works for you. When Robert Kiyosaki and his wife Kim started out, they didn't buy a dream home or expensive cars. They bought rental properties. They reinvested everything. While their friends were upgrading their lives, they were building theirs, quietly, patiently. Years later, those investments were paying for the lifestyle others were still financing. It's not about never enjoying your money, it's about enjoying it in the right order. The poor and middle class spend first, then save, if there's anything left. The rich invest first, then spend what their assets produce. Sometimes they don't even spend it at all, they reinvest it again. Delayed gratification is a discipline. It's choosing to wait, choosing to build, choosing to sacrifice now so you can be free later. And it's not always easy, especially when everyone around you is living for the weekend, chasing quick highs and pretending they're doing better than they are. But real wealth doesn't flash. It grows, quietly, steadily, intentionally. And the moment you stop chasing what's shiny and start building what lasts, you step off the treadmill and into real freedom. Most people are trained to be consumers. From the moment they earn their first paycheck, they're told what to buy: the newest phone, a better car, branded clothes, more stuff to show they're making it. But here's the truth. Every time you buy a liability, you buy your way deeper into the rat race. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. They may look impressive, but they don't build wealth. They destroy it. That shiny car, it depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot. That phone upgrade, it'll be outdated in a year. The designer shoes, no resale value, no return. Just flash, just expense. Investors don't think that way. They buy assets, things that put money back in their pocket, stocks that pay dividends, properties that generate rent, businesses that produce income. Even intellectual property, books, online courses, licensing deals, these are assets that work for you even when you're asleep. Robert Kiyosaki made it simple. If it puts money in your pocket, it's an asset. If it takes money out, it's a liability. And most people spend their lives accumulating liabilities they think are assets. A house they can barely afford. A financed car they call an investment. But if it doesn't pay you, it's not an asset. It's a burden. Wealthy people aren't cheap, they're strategic. They don't buy to impress, they buy to multiply. And once their assets produce enough income, then they might spend. But even then, many of them don't. Because by the time they could afford the luxury, they've learned the truth. Freedom feels better than flexing. Every dollar you spend is a decision: consume or invest, feed your ego or feed your future. Most people buy things that make them look rich. Investors buy things that make them become rich. So, next time you're about to swipe your card, ask yourself, is this making me money or costing me freedom? That one question can change your financial life forever. If you're struggling financially, it's time to ask a hard question. Who are you listening to? Because the voices around you are shaping your beliefs, your habits, and ultimately, your bank account. And here's the brutal truth. Most people take advice from people who have no results. Think about it. You want to build wealth, but you're listening to your broke uncle who's never invested a dollar outside his 401k. You want freedom, but your friends are telling you to play it safe, stick with the job, and hope for retirement. Your family, although well-meaning, might be reinforcing the same fear-based mindset that kept them stuck. And then there are influencers, people on social media selling dreams they've never actually built themselves. The result? Confusion, hesitation, inaction. You don't move forward because the voices you trust are pulling you backward. That's how the cycle continues. Generation after generation, recycling the same bad advice, the same limiting beliefs, and the same financial struggle. Wealthy people don't operate like that. They're intentional about who they learn from. They surround themselves with mentors who've been there, done it, and can prove it. They seek out conversations with investors, builders, entrepreneurs, people who are doing, not just talking. They know that if you want to rise, your circle has to rise with you. Robert Kiyosaki learned from his rich dad by watching how he thought, how he moved, how he built. He didn't take advice from those who only read about success. He learned from those who lived it. That's the difference. If you're serious about financial freedom, you have to tune out the noise. You can love your friends and family without letting them shape your future. And you can admire someone online without mistaking hype for wisdom. Your wealth will rise or fall with the people you choose to trust. So be ruthless about it. Follow results, not opinions. Because when it comes to money, listening to the wrong voice can cost you years, or your freedom. We've all heard the phrase, knowledge is power. But that's only half the truth. Knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is. And when it comes to money, most people don't even get past the first step. They say they want to be rich, they say they want freedom, but they never take the time to actually learn how money works. Why? Because it's easier not to. It's easier to scroll, to watch, to complain. It's easier to blame the government, your job, or the economy than it is to pick up a book or study a balance sheet. And that laziness comes with a brutal price: debt, stress, and dependence. People spend decades working hard yet never figure out why they're always behind. They don't understand taxes, so they overpay. They don't understand credit, so they drown in it. They don't understand cash flow, so they spend their lives chasing paychecks instead of building passive income. The ignorance is expensive, far more expensive than a financial education ever could be. Meanwhile, the rich treat financial education like a lifelong investment. They study money like a doctor studies medicine. They learn about taxes, leverage, markets, assets, and laws. They surround themselves with experts, accountants, attorneys, strategists, because they know that even one small insight can save them thousands or make them millions. They never assume they know enough. They're always learning, always applying, always growing. If you want to break free, you need to adopt that same discipline. Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now. Start with 15 minutes a day. Read about money. Watch smart people. Ask better questions. Because every day you delay is a day you stay stuck. Being broke isn't just a financial problem, it's an information problem. And you're one decision away from changing that. Learn the rules, play the game, and most importantly, use what you learn. Because money doesn't care what you know. It only responds to what you do. You weren't born to be broke, but you were taught to stay that way. Taught to trade time for money. Taught to seek comfort over control. Taught to fear risk, idolize security, and depend on a system that was never built to set you free. But just because that's the path you were given doesn't mean it's the one you have to stay on. You've now seen the truth. The rich don't follow the rules, they write their own. They don't work for money, they make it work for them. They give up the illusion of security. They reject the employee mindset. They delay gratification. They invest instead of consume. They listen to results, not opinions. They study money like their freedom depends on it, because it does. And that's what separates them. Not luck, not privilege, just a different set of decisions. Now the question is, what will you do? Because knowing isn't enough. You've watched the video, you've heard the truths. But if you just nod your head and move on, nothing changes. Your bills will still come. Your time will still be traded. Your dreams will still sit on the shelf. But if you act, even in the smallest way, everything can begin to shift. Open a book on investing. Track your spending. Start building a skill. Talk to someone who's done what you want to do. Or simply make the decision to think differently from this moment on. You don't have to do it all today, but you do have to do something, because nothing in your life changes until you do. This is your wake-up call. Not next year, not when things settle down, now. Because if you don't change, nothing changes. But if you do, everything can. If you made it all the way to the end, that already sets you apart from most people. Most will never sit through hard truths, let alone act on them. But you're here. You stayed. That tells me something. You're not just interested in success, you're ready to earn it. So, here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below with the words, "I refuse to stay broke." Let me know you're one of the few who's done listening to excuses and ready to start rewriting your financial story. I'll be reading and hearting every single one of them. If this video gave you even one powerful insight, one mental shift, one reason to take action, do me a favor, hit that like button. It costs you nothing, but it helps us reach more people who need to hear this message. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got more real, raw, no BS content coming. Less theory, more action. And if you're serious about getting out of the rat race, you're going to want to stick around. Remember, wealth isn't a dream. It's a decision. And you just made the first one. Now go make the next move. We'll see you in the next video.